Good afternoon. I'm Rana Novini. We want to update you now on breaking news happening here in the city where crowds have been marching in Midtown for today's No Kings protest. It's part of a nationwide day of protests against President Donald Trump's policies. Our team has been on the ground covering this from all angles this afternoon. We saw the protests kick off at Grand Central Station. They moved on to Bryant Park. On the move from there, we have News 4's Chris Jose live in the middle of it all. Chris, tell us where you guys are now.
Hey, Brandon, we're here on 5th Avenue on 42nd and 41st. You can see here tens of thousands of people lined up along 5th Avenue. Right now, the crowd is slowly making its way towards Madison Square Park. You can see here, they are here, again, tens of thousands of people braving the rainy conditions this afternoon. You can see them holding their signs, a lot of them chanting different kinds of sayings right now. There is some profanity, so we're going to be a little bit careful. But you mentioned Grand Central Terminal. So we were there about 90 minutes ago. I can tell you there was a large law enforcement presence out there. Everything from National Guard troops to State Patrol, also NYPD and MTA officers. There's restricted access in that area this afternoon. But it's important to note that this is a peaceful protest, No King's Day. And we've been speaking to protesters throughout the afternoon. Take a listen to what a couple of them said to us a short time ago.
There should never be anyone here who thinks he is above the people and above the law.
Listen to the people. We're not happy, you know, all of us. And it's not right or left, it's wrong or right.
All right, back live here along 5th Avenue, right along 42nd and 41st. Again, you're looking at tens of thousands of people out here. The NYPD close by monitoring the situation. The crowd slowly making its way towards Madison Square Park. They are out here, tens of thousands of them. This is a peaceful demonstration. We're going to be out here throughout the afternoon as we make our way towards, closer towards Madison Square Park. That's the latest live here along 5th Avenue. Chris Jose, News 4 New York. Rana.
Chris, thank you for that look. We want to get a closer look at what people are saying. We have News 4's Jessica Cunnington, who's been out there all afternoon, closer to the library there in Bryant Park. Jess, we've seen the crowds build where you are over the past couple of hours.
They have, Rana, and what we've learned from an NYPD officer is that right now I'm at 42nd and 5th, but this entire crowd stretches to 36th Street. So just think about how big we're seeing. Obviously, the crowd here at this corner build really from as far as the eye could see. You could just see people, their posters, American flags, and we're giving you a closer look in this video too, just to give you a little bit more of the scope, what we're seeing immediately here in Midtown. But as I just said, they are stretching 10 blocks down, and they are continuing to move closer to Madison Square Park, so even further south on 5th Avenue. And what we have heard earlier this afternoon from a group of organizations here in New York City, speaking about why exactly they came together as a show of strength against the Trump administration and against the ICE raids and arrests that we've seen right here in New York City and across the country, including we heard from the president of the ACLU here in New York City. Take a listen as to why she said it is so important to show why the people are powerful with their voices and with them showing up today.
We will defend our democracy. We'll defend it for the people who are hurting, for the soul and values of our nation, for freedom and equal justice for all, for our right to believe what we believe, to say what we think, and to peacefully and lawfully protest the policies of this or any other government.
What you're hearing right now is just one of the many chants that we have heard over the past few hours. We've also seen people break out in song, in dance as well. So we're just seeing a massive gathering, not so much marching just yet, but we do know that the crowd is inching and moving down 5th Avenue. Again, we're here at 42nd and 5th, but we have heard from police that they are down towards 37th and 36th Street and continuing to be moving down on 5th Avenue. Live live in Midtown. I'm Jessica Cunnington. Back to you.
Jessica, thank you so much. And we do want to get a closer look at the police presence at these protests. Of course, a large number of people there. We're bringing in Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dienst with us. Jonathan, tell us what the NYPD is doing right now. We know these are peaceful protests, but how are they balancing keeping everyone safe while allowing these protests to continue?
All right, they're helping with the protests, helping them lead along. Right now, they give an estimate of about 25,000 marchers at this time here in Midtown. Those numbers appear to be growing despite the weather. As so far, there are no incidents to report. There are thousands of extra police officers on duty, ready to be mobilized should there be any need. But again, so far, as Chris Jose was pointing out, the marches, the protests have been peaceful so far. And police, as of now, the Intelligence Division expects it to be peaceful throughout the day. Their concern is as night falls, if there will be straggling groups, if there will be some rabble-rousers, folks who cause difficulties, throwing any rocks, bottles, causing any difficulties. But they say they have the manpower, the police personnel in place in case of that eventuality. They're hoping that it does not take place, but they're prepared in case it does.
And of course, we know right now they're focused in Midtown, but these protests could spread out throughout the city, correct? They're on the iPad.
They're in all 5 boroughs. They were converging on Bryant Park and then leading many of them on this march heading downtown. But there are protests all across the region. We have them up in Connecticut. We heard in the town of Westport there are over 1,000 protesters demonstrating there. We know in New Jersey there's stepped up police to help with the protests that are taking place in numerous cities there. So this is region-wide, nationwide, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people all across the country turning out in this anti-Trump protest. Some of the groups involved here in New York, Rise and Resist, Democratic Socialists, the NYCLU, Indivisible Brooklyn, some of the names of some of the groups that have been rallying supporters to help take part in today's protests.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you so much for that look. No incidents to report at this time, so that's the good news here. We're going to keep an eye on it all afternoon, all evening. Our team covering this protest closely. You can always get the latest on NBCNewYork.com. We'll be back with another live update at 4 p.m.
Coverage continues with a look at protests in Miami-Dade.
Now, one of the biggest demonstrations planned for today is downtown Miami. That's where we find Local 10's Michaela Hightower live with a look at the latest there. Michaela.
Andrew and Alexis, and there is such a great turnout here in downtown Miami, just off of Biscayne Boulevard. Thousands are here protesting, and they are protesting against President Donald Trump's administration and those immigration policies. And these protesters have a message they want to send, and they are standing firm on that message. I want to walk you around and just show you a little bit about what these signs. There are signs, there are flags, there is music. At one point, Childish Gambino's "This Is America" was blaring in the background. Now, these group of protesters, they have a lot planned. They planned a conga line to go down Biscayne Boulevard and around Freedom Tower to come right back here. And they say they have drums, they have music. You can hear the cowbell, the pots and pans in the background. You can see what some of these signs are saying. There are flags of all type, and thousands of people have showed up here today in protest of those, what they are calling inhumane immigration policies, policies that they say are tearing families apart, and controversial asylum policies as well. So you can take a look right here. This is those protesters lining this street right here. There's some anti-protesters across the street as well, sending their message of what they believe. But just about 3 or 4 people. There's not really a big turnout on counter-protesters, but we spoke with organizers, and we want to pull that sound up. Rachel Pacheco with Miami Indivisible, who says, kind of explained a little bit of what their challenges today will be and what the message they hope to send is.
We are here to deliver a nice, clear message to the Trump administration that we would not cater to kings or oligarchs, that we will stand up and fight for our Constitution and for our constitutional rights. And we intend to do it very peacefully and in a very festive manner. The biggest challenge is always agitators. We are not the problem. We have had over 20 demonstrations now since February 13th. All of them without incident, all of them without violence. The only arrests have always been because of counter-protesters who have come here and instigated our attendees.
Again, Rachel saying they are demanding immediate change. It's what's brought many of these folks out here today. You can see a few of them here on these steps as well. I know you got to see a live look from up above, but this is what it's on the ground right here. If you're in the area of downtown Miami off of Biscayne Boulevard and Northeast 4th Street, you can definitely expect some traffic along Biscayne Boulevard today. This protest will be happening until 2 p.m. today. There are businesses in the area. There are restaurants. So far, it is passionate but peaceful, an important message there. When you drive down here, you'll see cars honking, drivers who want to see what's going on. And I'm going to just quiet down a little bit so you can hear the music and the chants and everything happening here today for a second. So yeah, that's what's going on here, guys. We'll definitely be keeping you posted online and over the air. But for now, I want to send it back to Andrew and Alexis.
All right, we'll check back in with you as well. Our team coverage turns now to Broward County. We have Local 10's Leanne Morejon. She's standing by live with a look at Coral Springs, but we're going to begin with Lenny Supal in Fort Lauderdale, where we've also learned protesters originally planning to gather in Hollywood are actually now heading to Fort Lauderdale. Lenny.
Yes, a combined event here on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and momentum is building hour by hour. Waves of people making their way out here to Sunrise Boulevard and A1A. You can see the crowd is electric. They've put pen to poster board. They are waving their flags and making their message clear. They are not happy with the direction of the country and raising their voices because of it. Taking a stand against President Donald Trump's anti-immigration policies that continue to evolve.
All of this is a joke, and no one is doing anything about it. And this is our only recourse. When's enough enough?
Fort Lauderdale Beach, one of nearly 2,000 organized demonstrations nationwide. This one planned by Hope in Action Indivisible of Broward County.
And it's making a point. So hopefully the powers that be will see it, and they will be fearful that if they don't make a change, there's going to be change for them.
So it's important to note that this event has actually been in the works for the last 6 weeks, well before the immigration protests we saw in California this week. But clearly the images that we've seen out there is prompting a lot of questions and concerns. And people out here aren't just fighting Trump's immigration policies, they are also fighting for low-income families. And of course, we'll have much more throughout the day. Reporting live from Fort Lauderdale Beach, Lenny Supal, Local 10 News.
Starting to get noisy. Lenny, thank you. We're also now taking a look at Coral Springs.
Local 10's Leanne Morejon joins us live with the developments there. Leanne, you've been out there all morning long. We know some people actually showed up a little early to this protest.
Absolutely. They are punctual here in Coral Springs, and the heat has not deterred anyone. They are still standing here. They're shouting. Cars are going by. Lots of honks in support of those. Some detractors as well, and a couple of naughty fingers in the air. But for the most part, it seems like the protesters here are feeling supported by those who are driving by. They have their signs. They're also collecting food for a food pantry, donations, monetary donations, and food donations for a local food pantry. You can also see across the street here, this is a University Drive and Sample Road, and there are groups of protesters on each corner. And in fact, on one corner, it actually goes down several blocks. An organizer I spoke to just moments ago estimates there are 1,000 people here, and they want to make their voices heard here in Coral Springs. The sounds of cheers and car horns were loud in downtown Coral Springs Saturday morning as demonstrators with shirts and signs came together for a No Kings protest Saturday morning.
Congress is not stopping him. The courts are having difficulties stopping him. So he is alone in this, which is the definition of being a king.
I am against so much of what Trump has done.
I am here. I will be everywhere to demonstrate against Donald Trump.
The first few protesters gathered nearly an hour before the initial start time of 9 a.m. By then, the crowd was 150 deep and growing. Have you ever been to a protest before?
No, it's the first time.
Tiananmen Square years ago with the student protesters for democracy, and they were all coming up to me because I was American, visiting, but I joined them.
Protesters cited multiple issues as motivation. Top of mind for many was immigration.
Trump is going about this immigration in entirely wrong, in my opinion.
How much hate and evil do you have to have in your heart to deport people from Haiti back to Haiti?
What's happening not just affect Hispanos, Latinos from Central America, from my country, I'm from Colombia. It's affecting everybody.
We're a land of immigrants. We can't stand bullies in this country, and that's all Donald Trump is.
Coming back out live, you can see the crowds here. On paper, they're only supposed to be here until noon, but we'll see if anybody decides to hang out a little longer. You also may have noticed police in the area. The organizer I spoke to said they feel very supported by law enforcement, who's really just here to make sure everyone is safe. For now, reporting live in Coral Springs, Leanne Morejon, Local 10 News.
We want to take a quick live look at Miami Beach as well.
Local 10's Bridget Matter standing by with how things are just getting started there. Bridget, what can you tell us about this so far?
Yeah, guys, this crowd is a lot more sizable than about an hour ago. This is happening at Pride Park in Miami Beach as part of the No Kings Day protest. You can see that crowd here behind me. A lot of people with signs. We are doing our best to not film any signs with profanity here, but just keep that in mind as we show you this crowd. This is happening, as I mentioned, at Pride Park. Miami Beach police are also here. There was already a fight between a counter protester and some of the protesters here that they had to break up. They're also helping an elderly woman who just fainted here. It is hot today, so make sure you stay hydrated. This is supposed to take place until 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's relatively peaceful so far, besides that one little hiccup that we had earlier today, but we'll stay on this one for you throughout the afternoon. Back to you guys.